What if you got married and found out that your in-laws kills the brides that enters their family on their wedding night to expand their wealth? Ew, so gross. Stay tuned to find out how it happened. Don't go anywhere. The game has only begun. Now let's dive into the story. The wedding of Gregory, Donovan, and Angela Obi was the talk of the entire country. It was a grand event, one of the biggest in years. Every major newspaper, television station, and social media platform covered it. The Donovans were one of the wealthiest and most powerful families in the nation, and Greg, their youngest son, had chosen to marry a woman from humble beginnings, which made her an object of scorn in Greg's family. His father, Lord Edwin Donovan, despised her, but Greg was determined to marry her against all odds. His love for Angela was pure and unwavering. It was a fairy tale romance. At least, that's how it appeared to the outside world. Angela was overwhelmed with joy. She had never imagined she would marry into such a powerful dynasty. But Greg had fought for her, had stood up against his father's disapproval, and made it clear that his love for her was unshakable. The wedding was extravagant. Celebrities, politicians, and the country's elites filled the grand estate. Cameras flashed as Greg and Angela exchanged vows, sealing what seemed to be a perfect love story. But Angela had no idea that she had just stepped into a nightmare. However, unknown to Angela, the Donovan family held a terrible secret, one that had been passed down for centuries. A secret so dark that even Greg himself didn't fully believe in it. And on their wedding night, Angela would unknowingly walk straight into the jaws of death. Few hours before the wedding, Greg's older brother, William Donovan, pulled Angela aside at the wedding rehearsal. "Don't marry Greg," he whispered, gripping her wrist tightly. Angela frowned. "What are you talking about?" William's face was tense, his blue eyes filled with genuine concern. "There are things you don't know about our family. Dangerous things. I can't let you go through with this." Angela chuckled nervously. "You're joking, right?" "I wish I was." William's voice was deadly serious. "This isn't just a family. It's a curse. The women who marry into this house. I can't tell you anything, but you can't proceed with this marriage. It's not safe." Angela yanked her wrist free. "I love Greg. Nothing will stop me from marrying him." William let out a frustrated sigh. He really liked Angela so much and wouldn't want anything to happen to her. "Then at least, when the wedding night comes, don't play the game. Whatever happens, say no to it." Angela rolled her eyes, thinking he was being overdramatic. Little did she know, that warning would be the difference between life and death. The wedding itself was magnificent. Thousands of guests filled the Grand Donovan estate, a castle-like mansion that had stood for centuries. The reception was full of music, laughter, and champagne, with celebrities, politicians, and business moguls in attendance. Angela was ecstatic. This was the happiest day of her life. She had no idea that her fate had already been sealed. After the last of the guests had left, Greg's father, Lord Edwin Donovan, called him into his private study. "You have done well, son," his father said, sipping from a glass of whiskey. "But now comes the true test." Greg frowned. "What test?" Lord Edwin's sharp eyes locked onto his son's. "The game, Greg. You didn't think we'll forget, did you?" Greg's stomach twisted. "Father, we don't need to do this. This ritual is outdated. No one believes in this anymore." "You weren't here for your sister's weddings," his father said coldly. "None of their husbands ever picked the wrong card. But tradition is tradition. If your bride chooses the hide-and-seek card, we must hunt. And if we fail, we all die at dawn." Greg's face paled. "This is madness. This is ridiculous," he protested. "We can't keep doing this. It's murder." Lord Edwin's cold smile sent a chill down his spine. "It's survival, son. A pact was made centuries ago. If we break it, we all die. Greg wanted to tell Angela everything, to make her run, but doing so would break the rules. If the family secret was exposed, their deaths would come immediately. So instead, he begged her to live with him. That night, Greg found Angela in their lavish honeymoon suite. He grabbed her hands. "Angela, listen to me. We need to leave. Right now." Angela blinked in confusion. "Why? The wedding just ended. I want to enjoy our first night together." Greg hesitated. "There is something dangerous about my family. I can't explain, but please, let's leave before midnight." Angela giggled. "Greg, stop being so dramatic. Your family already dislikes me. I want them to see I belong here. If playing a simple card game will make them accept me, then fine." Greg's blood ran cold. "Angela, no." But it was too late. Midnight struck. The game had begun. The entire Donovan family gathered in a dark chamber deep within the mansion. Candles flickered, casting eerie shadows on the stone walls. A massive oak table sat in the center, and on it, a deck of aged, yellowing cards. Angela, excited, reached for the deck. She picked a card and turned it over. Hide and seek. The room went deadly silent. Greg felt his heart drop. His father smirked, looking at Angela with a hungry, predatory stare. Angela forced a nervous smile. Angela forced a nervous laugh. "Why is everyone looking at me like that?" Greg's heart pounded. His worst nightmare had come true. Greg grabbed her wrist. "Angela, listen to me. Run. Now." Lord Edwin cleared his throat. "Angela, you have to go and hide, and we will try to catch you as per the game. You only have to hide in a mansion." Angela forced a laugh. "Okay, but you will not find me," she said jokingly. "Believe me, we will," Angela's aunt said coldly with a smirk. "Now run along, little bird," William's wife, Stella, said with a cold face. Angela still thought it was a joke. She grinned and raced towards the dark hallways to hide, thinking this was just a fun childish game. She was dead wrong. The moment she disappeared, the Donovans armed themselves. Guns, knives, crossbows. Even the children, small and innocent looking, held small pistols with eerie enthusiasm. Greg's mother, Lady Beatrice, whispered an incantation. A giant iron clock in the room began ticking. Angela had until the clock struck 4 a.m. to survive. If she was still alive by then, the entire Donovan family would die in agony. Angela hid in a dark attic, suppressing a giggle. But then, she heard footsteps, the heavy breathing, the cocking of guns. A gunshot echoed through the halls, then a scream. Angela gasped. Someone had been shot. She peered through a crack and saw a servant lying dead, blood pooling beneath her. Greg's sister Nancy, who was clumsy, had mistakenly shot a servant, thinking it was Angela. Then a voice came from the back. It was Stella, William's wife. "Couldn't you have watched properly? You just killed a servant instead of Angela. Be careful, Nancy. You don't want to arouse any suspicion." Angela's smile vanished. This wasn't a game. They were actually hunting her. Her heartbeat thundered. She tried to stay still, but another shot fired, just inches from her head. She wanted to scream, but Greg covered her mouth and waited until the women left. Angela looked at Greg, disappointed. "How could you do this to me, Greg? So this is what your family do? They were actually hunting to kill me. How could you have allowed this to happen?" Angela cried. "I'm so sorry, my love. Please forgive me. I tried to explain things to you. I tried to take you away from here, but you refused to go. I'm so sorry. I didn't know my family still follow this kind of traditions and rituals. I've been away for a long time because I don't like those rituals. I don't know it's still going on. But there is no time to explain. You have to hide. Run through the back door, but hide. Don't allow anyone to see you. All the doors are locked, but I will try my best to shut off the CCTV, thereby unlocking all the doors. You have to be alert. grab the opportunity and run out of the mansion. I will find you and then we can leave this place together and never return. Without wasting any time, Angela ran. She ran for her life. Greg sneaked into the CCTV room and sabotaged the security system, shutting off the CCTV cameras and unlocking secret passageways for Angela to escape. But his brother Williams caught him. "You are helping her?" William whispered angrily. "If she leaves, we all die." Greg punched William. "I don't care. She's my wife." Meanwhile, Angela made it outside. She reached the stables gasping for breath. That's when she saw it. A pit of human skulls. The remains of past brides who had chosen hide and seek. Angela choked a sob. A sharp pain exploded in her hand. A young boy, one of Greg's nephew, had shot her. She kicked him, making him stumble, and kept running. She sprinted to the iron gates, but they were locked. Her blood ran cold. She tried everything in her power to fit herself into the small holes at the gates. Well, she succeeded, hurting herself even the more. She groaned in pain, but she had to keep moving. Behind her, headlights fled. A car sped towards her. She threw herself into a bush just in front of the mansion as the driver, one of the servants, jumped out, grabbing her. She beat his hand and stabbed him with a rusty iron rod, broke free and ran, but she was weak and wounded. But before she could escape, Greg's father and brother surrounded her. "You should have just died with dignity," Lord Edwin hissed. They dragged Angela back into the mansion. Angela was tied to an altar in a candlelit chamber. The entire family surrounded her. Lord Edwin held a dagger. "Forgive me, my dear, but it's either you or us." Angela was pleading for help. She looked around but didn't see Greg. Greg has been tied by his father to prevent him from interrupting the ritual. The whole family drank from a cup, with Lord Edwin incanting some words. Lord Edwin lifted the dagger. Just as he was about to strike, chaos erupted. The whole family members convulsed. "I'm so sorry. I had to poison the drink. I couldn't watch her die," William said. He caught the ropes. "Run!" he screamed. Angela ran. Greg's mother lunged at Angela, but Angela grabbed a shard of glass and stabbed her. Greg's brother Williams ran after her to protect her, but his wife Stella came at him with a gun. "No, you cannot do this. I didn't come from nothing to have all this and just die like that," she shrieked. "I can't lose all this. The life of luxury and all these things, all this wealth. We need the wealth." She raised a gun. "Hand her over or I shoot." But Williams refused. As he tried to coerce her not to shoot, Stella pulled the trigger. Williams staggered back. She tried to shoot Angela, but she smashed a vase over her head, knocking her out. Angela rushed to Williams. "I'm so sorry. Thanks for saving me. Run. Don't look back. I hope you'll be safe. Thank you for setting me free," Williams said with his last breath and died. As Angela was about running out, Greg got there quickly. Angela rushed to him and hugged him tightly. He looked around and saw his dead family. Angela held his hands and asked for them to leave the place. Immediately, his father came out. "Greg, don't listen to her. We are your family. If she doesn't die, then we all will. She killed your mother and brother. We can't let her escape." Greg, realizing his family would never let her go, gave in to their demands. He dragged Angela back to the altar and tied her up. He picked up the knife, shaking, about to stab the woman he loved. Angela thrashed, "Greg, please!" Greg's face twisted in agony. His father whispered, "It's us or her." Greg nodded grimly. Angela's heart shattered. "You coward!" "I'm sorry, Angela, but I don't want to die yet. You just have to die." But before he could strike, Angela broke free. Then dawn arrived, but nothing happened. Everyone looked at each other confused. Angela bolted. Greg looked at Angela looking remorseful. "Angela, wait." She spun around. "You wanted to kill me. I thought you loved me, but you're just like the rest of your family. I was wrong to love a despicable man like you. Burn in hell." Tears filled his eyes. "I was scared. I'm so sorry. We can live together happily. I will love you forever. Please accept me back. Don't leave me. Angela spat in his face. Then it happened. The curse took effect. One by one, the Donovans exploded like balloons, blood splattering across the walls. Greg clutched his chest. No, no! Then he too exploded. Angela laughed out loud. Burn in hell. Angela, covered in ash and blood, stumbled out. The entire Donovan mansion shook violently. The walls cracked. The ceiling caved in. The Donovan empire crumbled. Sirens bled outside. The police stormed in, pulling Angela to safety. As she was driven away, she looked back. With one final tremor, the mansion collapsed, swallowing Greg and his family's cursed legacy forever. And the mansion burned to the ground. Angela sat in a hospital bed, her wounds bandaged. The reporters swarmed outside, hungry for the story. She watched the sunrise. She had survived. She had escaped, and the Donovans were no more. But the nightmare would never leave her. The memory of that night would haunt her forever. Thank you for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the story. If so, please like the video, comment what you have learned from the tale, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more enchanting tales just like this one. See you on the next one. Thank you and God bless. Bye.